A woman asked me, and I'm not going to say who it was, but I know that they follow my channel and follow, all of the other channels of people who I've butted heads with in the past. And I don't even know why I'm speaking in code because y'all know the channels that I'm talking about, be it the Hypergamy Camp or the Femininity Camp or the Get You a White Man Camp or whatever you want to call it. But they asked me, and I'm kind of out of breath because I'm in the gym right now. But they asked me, what do I think of these artists that have basically been exposed to have non-black wives, and they're up there promoting the image of black women as these mules and warriors and all that other stuff with their cartoon. First off, let me just say, I think it's foul, especially the fact that they have white wives. I mean, it's already bad enough that they're not drawing black men. I'm like, why don't you draw a picture of a strong black man, with his shirt off or something, looking like Rambo with, a chain of, crossed X, magazine rounds or something like that, or, looking tactical or something like he's about to fight somebody. Why don't you draw a picture of that shit? Right? But no, we don't get strong masculine images of black men. We get weakness or we get non-existence, right? Or, we get either a gay black man or a very feminine black man or some beta male black man. The only time we get hypermasculine black males is in sports or in criminality, right? And so, I saw that there was a petition against Time magazine coming from the Hypergamous Camp, and I'm in support of it. There's a petition against Time and Rolling Stone, and I'm glad that the anger or some of the focus is being directed where it needs to be directed against, which is, the white media that likes to go out there and promote this stuff. Because, the part that frustrates me as a black man, and women play this game all the time, and it's just what they do. And again, I get pissed off and angered by them when they do it. But black people, we get the media, we get what white folks give us. It's the same feelings I have when I watch MSNBC, and CNN. You got Simone Sanders up there, and you got whatever other, dyke-looking black woman that's up there. I was I went to go see my father, and I walked in and came in through the kitchen, and he was sitting there, doing his usual, being retired and shit. He likes to eat cereal in the middle of the day. So I caught him while he was eating cereal and he was watching MSNBC. We talked about, just random shit for a second. And I don't know, they were saying something on MSNBC. And he turned and looked at me and he said, "What's with all these dyke black women up there on MSNBC? Why they always got to have short haircuts?" And, and remember, he's old school. So, that whole, he's not too keen on the whole natural hair. He's not a fan of micro braids or anything else like that. But I got what he was saying. It's like the women that are up there, they're not the most, feminine women, that you'll see, on MSNBC and CNN. They're like these political, lesbian looking women. That's what they look like, regardless of whether they are or not. It's what they look like. It's what you see when you look at them. I got what he was picking up on. It's not like when I see what's her name, Maya Wiley, who I think is attractive. I'd like to see her when she was younger, but now something about her I find attractive. But people say, oh, it's because she's lighter skinned, she has locks. I just think that she's an attractive, older looking woman, and she's the type of woman where I would say, if I want my wife to look like her when she gets older. But, that's just me. I think Maya Wiley is attractive. But some of these other women, some Simone Sanders looking chicks that go up on, that go up on MSNBC and CNN. They have this masculine, energy to them. And, same thing I say about the gun control. They always go up there on MSNBC and CNN. Despite everything that's going on, they're always going to present black people who are anti-Second Amendment, pro-gun control, not gun rights, gun control. And when we go over to Time magazine or we go over to Rolling Stone, these by far, it's not even debatable. These are, white controlled media outlets. And, black people just got to realize that just like I'm saying about CNN and MSNBC, this is the problem with us not controlling our own media. They're only going to give you what they want to give you. So black people are going to have to control their own media. If black men want to see masculine black men, then we got to control our own media. If black women want to see feminine black women, then we got to control our own media. It's just that simple. Because, and I hate the fact that, again, like white media is going to give us the black people that they deem acceptable, or the messages that they're perpetuating are acceptable. Okay, so whenever they have a black man, they'll be like, oh, we have black male representation. And it's always some black dude who's like borderline gay, or he's got feminine energy. That's the black man that they're going to put up there. Or if his message is somehow role reversed, that's the black man that they're going to put up there. Or if he's promoting white women, or if he's promoting colorism, that's the black man that they're going to put up there. And when it comes to black women, they're not going to give you the feminine, docile, damsel in distress black woman. They're going to give you the black woman that is masculine, or they're going to give you the black man that's espousing for a masculine woman, or they're going to give you the black woman that's espousing for a black man to be feminine. That's what they're going to give you. And so, I'm looking at black people and I'm saying to myself, I'm like, everybody's getting all worked up, but I'm like, look at where this shit is coming from. You know what I'm saying? If we had some black outlet and it was controlled by black people top down, and you had the right editors in place, and the editors were properly, sexually oriented and whatnot, and they understood patriarchy and gender roles and stuff like that, and didn't give a fuck about anybody saying that they were not being progressive enough, then we'd be okay. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to sit there and have a magazine and then have like a woman like Jamila Lemieux, who's clearly a unapologetic staunch feminist. I'm not going to have her as my editor if I'm trying to promote masculine black men and feminine black women. I'm not going to have her as my editor, on top of the fact that she's 51% Caucasian. That's a whole different conversation. But I'm saying I'm not going to have her as an editor when it comes to the overall identity and that I'm trying to portray in the magazine. You get what I'm saying? So a lot of black people, they out here getting worked up, and I'm like, you getting worked up about what? White media pulling some fuckery? I'm like, what do you expect? That's what white media does. They pull fuckery. And while everybody's sitting there and they're getting mad at the specific gender, like, oh, this black man did this, oh, this black woman did that. I'm like, look at the media outlet. Look at the outlet. Look at who puts that on a pedestal. Like, in other words, every single person in the black community is not on the same page. Okay? There's rogue factions, there's extreme factions with extreme ideologies and ideologies that, even though they exist in the community, it's not like, that should be promoted. You know what I'm saying? Like, the white community has a pathology for mass shooters. But does the white community promote mass shooters? No, it goes out of its way to deny their existence and make it a gun issue as opposed to a white pathological issue. Again, we have yet to have a mass shooting in the black community at a predominantly black school, despite, everybody screaming, urban violence and black on black violence and all this. Ain't nobody coming in the black schools to try to shoot the whole school up. It's not even an attempt. It's not in our mindset to go do that. Just like we have, despite all the stuff that black people go through, we have the lowest suicide rates out of any group. If anybody should be blowing their heads off, it should be us living in America. But instead, it's middle-aged white males that are blowing their heads off. Why are they blowing their heads off? Probably because they go out there and they subscribe to Republican ideology of the idea that, they're supposed to be in a particular place because they're a white male, and if they don't, then they haven't been successful at life and they're a failure, and then they have to face all the criticisms that they've labeled against, namely African Americans, and they find themselves in the same pot that they have, or they find themselves in the same space that they have. Use their, conservative talking points as a cudgel to beat black people over the head. And when they find themselves in that particular situation, they can't handle it. They can't handle it. I'm not supposed to be here, and then they go and they blow their brains out. Okay. Where black people are the opposite end of the spectrum, where, we have low expectations and we have, basically, we look at it like shit's not going to be fair, and we accept it that it's not going to be fair. I'm not saying that we should, but I'm saying a lot of us have. When we get screwed over, we kind of expect it. It's not a surprise. Where with white people, they get screwed over, they're like, what? Impossible. You know what I mean? They can't handle this shit. So, it's a difference in culture based on how, particular groups are treated in society. But, all the evil black men, I can't stand that shit. I really can't stand that shit. And what's the other thing I can't stand? I thought somebody was coming in here, because I am not the only person in here. Or I am the only person in here today, but usually I'm not. But I don't know. That's just how I feel about it. I'm like, black women are going off and, these black men and they're married to white women and, see, this is what they do. And they try to tie it back to like this is some shit this has always been going on in the community. And then again, completely ignoring, the women who have, pushed the whole empowered agenda and fighting for feminism. And, we want to be equal to men. And then when it actually happens, then they're upset. But I can't ignore the fact that I'm like, it is kind of strange. I'm like, you got non-black wives and white wives and light-skinned wives, and you drawing dark-skinned black women. And then you get the layer on top of that where you like, and wait a minute. And then white media goes out of their way to grab these dudes. Like, again, how many, would it have been better if these were dark-skinned black men and they were married to dark-skinned black women and painted the picture? It would still be problematic, but at least they would be with dark-skinned women. And then the whole idea of, them being, desired, wouldn't be an issue, right? But if you're not even choosing them, but you want them to be the mules, again, light-skinned women are not depicted that way, right? But then also by the same token, how many light-skinned women do you see going out here trying to be warriors versus black women trying to be warriors, And then you got to ask the question, well, is it because light-skinned women are not depicted that way, or they just don't subscribe to that? Or the only reason black women are doing is because they're depicted that way? I guess we could argue that it's a little bit of both, but I can say that before, this sort of artwork and all that stuff was being portrayed, it was, the women were pushing for this. Because when I first came online, they were, again, you heard the videos. I got the receipts and everything else. You heard it. Okay. They were in there talking about, I am the creator of life, and all the, they can, if a man can build what did she say? If a man can build a building better than she'll eat her head. That's extreme. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't say it. She said it. Okay. She said it. We don't do nothing but build. Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, what? Like, why? You don't do nothing but build. But then when that actually manifests into, dark-skinned women being viewed and depicted in such a light, then you end up with this new generation that doesn't like it because they've woken up to, how detrimental that is and how problematic that is, which it is. It shouldn't be light-skinned women get to be the objects of affection and desirability, and dark-skinned women, they're the mules and they're the ones that, yeah, you can fight for us, but we don't want to marry you. We don't want to wife you up. We don't want to date you. Like, that's fucked up. So I'm in agreement with the women on that. We're just, in large part in disagreement to the origins of it. But like I'm saying, when the white media goes out and handpicks the black people that they're gonna represent the group or represent some sort of message, you better believe there's gonna be some fuckery in there. It ain't gonna be legitimate depictions 10 times out of 10. You may get 1 time out of 10. You say, oh, okay, that was a decent commercial. That wasn't ass backwards. They may give you 1 out of 10, and you'd be lucky if you get that. But the rest of it, the 9 out of 10, it's going to be some fuckery. It's going to be some fuckery. So I don't even really trip over it because I already know like they're not going to grab a masculine black man like Shannon Sharp, only in certain you can do that with the sports and everything. They're not going to put him in other settings. They're not going to do that. They're going to go and they're going to get, they're going to get I can't even talk, the feminine black man. It's like what I used to say when I used to watch Will Smith movies. I was like, damn, how many, they got Eva Mendes, then he in the movie with the white chick in Men in Black, then he in the movie with Rosario Dawson. I'm like, damn, like they just keep putting this brother with white women. Then you got the Hancock, he with Charlize Theron in Hancock. I was like, damn. They just keep putting him with, I know he's not dark skinned, but I'm just saying they just kept putting Will Smith with all these non-black women in all these movies, and I understand Jada Pinkett's not the darkest woman in the world, but I'm like, these other women ain't even sisters. That's what you're going to get from the mainstream media. That's what you're going to get from Time Magazine. That's what you're going to get from Rolling Stone. You're going to get bullshit like that. Remember when the New Yorker had the Obamas up there and they were, she was like wearing some militant outfit and they had him painted as a Muslim. Remember that shit? That's the type of shit that they do when you don't control your own media. And black people should be spending more time to control and have their own media instead of bitching about how other groups depict them. The only reason we're bitching is because we don't have a counter narrative. That's why it's bitching. That's why everybody's complaining because what they put out there, ends up being it. That's the message. That's what gets depicted, when they portray whatever they portray in the media. Like that's the only imagery that you're going to get. And black people, what we do entirely too much is we sit around and we rely on other people to depict us right. And they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. You're going to continue to see masculine, overweight, black women who are just, confrontational and belligerent and mules. And they're going to keep showing you, these sort of black men who are, if they're together, then they'll be feminine. They'll be feminine black men. If they're wearing a tie and a suit and whatever, they're not going to give you Shannon Sharp. No. They're going to give you a feminine black man, and he's the one he went to college and he's got a degree and everything else like that, and he's got a good job. They're going to make him feminine. Okay. And then when they show you a masculine black man, oh yeah, he masculine, got muscles, he got a deep voice, he looks like he's a protector and everything. But then, his whole background is just in shambles. He's got like 4 felonies, he's got baby mamas, he's got, he doesn't have any stability. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they'll give you a black man when they attach his ass to criminality. They'll give you a masculine black man when they attach his ass to bad credit and, kids out of wedlock and poverty and rap videos and street culture. Yeah, that's when they'll give you a masculine black man, one that looks scary and intimidating. But when, they go up there and they want to show you a black man with some stability, they intentionally make him so that he is not desirable in the eyes of women, and then you end up with that whole, ELs will latch on to it. They'll be like, well, why don't you want Hill Harper? Or why don't you want, some other black man that just doesn't invoke that type of like, ooh, he doesn't invoke that. I'm always been about the whole balance thing. I'm like, nigga, wear a suit, but fill that motherfucker out. You know what I'm saying? Like, look the part, be sharp. You know what I'm saying? Be intimidating. You know what I'm saying? How you going to be protectors of a community and not be intimidating? That don't even make any sense. But yet there's this pervasive idea that in order to be a good black man, you have to disarm yourself and not be intimidating to white folks and not be intimidating at all. And, because for fear that you'll be accused of criminality. No, be scary. Fuck that. Be scary, but be put together. Have your shit together. You see, because that's the slick shit that they do. They stay doing that. So when they do it to sisters, I'm not surprised because they do it to us. It's just obviously sisters are focused on themselves. They're not focused on us. But I'm like, Rolling Stone, really? Time Magazine, really? Like, I'm not expecting them to depict black people right. They're not going to. They're going to throw you some fuckery every chance they get. And for the uninformed or the unintelligent or the emotional, they're not going to catch it. They're not going to catch it. The average black person out here is not going to catch it. You know what I mean? You would think you ain't going to hear Oprah talk about this. You ain't going to hear Oprah call it out and be like, wait, hold on, wait a minute. No, because, she got her overlords and her masses to answer to. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in mainstream media, every black person in mainstream media is compromised because we don't control that as a group of people. That's not our shit. So all the black people that's living good, eating good, and all that other stuff, they gotta appease, they masses. You know what I mean? And black people ain't got nothing to offer. We ain't got no movie roles and shit like that. They don't eat off of black people, so they gotta go up there and tap dance and soft shoe and come out their mouth saying stupid shit like Terry Crews. Like that's what they gonna do. You see, they all gotta have non-black women on their arms and the black women that they want to promote. Now they're starting to go out there and promote swirling and everything. All of this is tactics designed to undermine the black community and people like getting together and being together, and black people like having solid unity. Like what was his name, the Hoover, was it Herbert Hoover, whoever it was, the FBI director back in the day, investigating Martin Luther King and Malcolm X and all that. What did he say? The biggest threat to national security is black unity. I think that's who said it. You see? It's just, this is just what we got to realize, But if black people, if they want to sit there and they want to fall for the okie doke and then, go back and forth and point the finger and everything, I'm like, okay. But I don't know what you expect, It's sad that we don't have a counter to it. We definitely need to counter, but I'm just saying, I don't really know what you all expect. Seriously speaking, what do you expect? So anyway, that's all I got to say. I'm gonna finish my workout. SWP out.